On.
Oh, shucks.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dream Do Done, your favorite girls, one-ish every Monday afternoon from Process to Progress. So excited to be here on this 14th day of September. Where is the year going? But we are here. It's a blessing to be here, and we're grateful that you are here with us. You've been on this journey. We're gearing up to our second year running this accountability podcast. OMG, look at that. We're going to have a birthday party,
We should. We should. And you know how things happen. If we say it on the show, it happens. So
we'll have to have a party. How do you feel about it? Oh, clearly we enjoy what we're doing. My husband said we have too much fun at Dream Be Done. But if it's not fun, we're not doing it. So welcome to the show. I'm going to allow my co-hosts to introduce themselves. I'm going to turn it over to the how-to coach, Tamara Hartley.
hey, everyone. How are you? So I hope you all have had an amazing week. I said, this Monday comes quick, doesn't it? Because it seemed like you just saw us, right? But I was saying earlier, I said, this week has kind of been a blur, so much going on, but it's been a good week for me. And I'm glad to be here today with my sisters and you.
We're glad to have you. And now we get to the Pulpit Chic, Serena Brown Travis.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been quite the roller coaster of a weekend. I still have not had a chance to share with my sisters, so we'll have to do that after the show. But nonetheless, I am just glad to still be here, to be covered in blessings, and to still be pushing forward. So I'm looking forward to today's show.
Well, I tell you, it is happening so much. So we'll have to do our after the show call. We do our pre-show call.
I'm not finished. I didn't get my chance.
We had to give you because they were trying to help me stay on the ledge and not fall off because it's suggestions. But I'm excited about today's show because we are closing out the third quarter. Like in the next couple of weeks, that's it. And then it's time for the fourth quarter. And anybody that's worked with me knows I get into the fourth quarter focus. This is time for us to really prepare and put in place the things that are necessary as we are gearing up for the new year. You don't start planning for the new year in January. You start doing that in the fourth quarter of the year preceding that. So today we're talking about building your team with the right personalities. I think a lot of folks right now in the pivot of everything that's going on, people are figuring out what to do, how to do it, who to do it with, how to rebuild businesses that were affected by COVID-19. Some people are out of business or they're on furlough, so they're looking to do other streams of income just to survive. And those of us that are blessed to be in a position where we can still keep moving forward, we want to talk and have a conversation with you around how do you really build the team with the right personalities? What's going to serve you? What's going to help you? What's going to stretch you? Do you want a team of all yes men and women? Or do you want a team of people that are going to challenge you? What's your personality? Do you understand where your strengths are so that you can attract people that balance that out? And that's a conversation that we hope you have early on. You don't want to get into partnerships and relationships and building a team, and then you realize, I don't really like them. So we just want to talk about the importance of how you select that process. And all of us have our insight on this and our opinions on just some helpful tips as you look into expanding. Because even if you already have a team, right now with what we're dealing with, you really should be expanding. And sometimes it's not just bringing employees on or 1099 consultants, it's working with other companies and other businesses so both of you can survive and thrive post COVID-19. So I'm going to turn it over to my co-host. Who wants to jump in first and talk about it? Because I have a lot to say.
I know you. Stacie, that's what I love you. So, here's the challenge. While I have brothers and sisters, I'm also very much so an only child. So I did not have to learn how to work with other people. So as a result of that, things were my way or the highway. I mean, if you didn't do it my way, it was like, you do not exist to me. And so I think in terms of, selecting a team, I know that I have to be self-aware of who I am. I have to be aware of my personality in comparison to other people, and to also be open-minded. So one of the things that I do up front is I try to make sure we're all like-minded. I don't need yes men and yes women, but I also need to make sure that if there's an issue, no matter what happens, at the end of the day, we're going to remember to communicate in love and compassion and understanding. And so, to be quite honest, that's why for Stacie and Tamara, I remember as we were working on a project, I said, hey, Tamara, there's someone you got to meet. Stacie, there's someone you got to meet. And so when we decided to do Dream, Do, Done, we said, girl, I already know at the end of the day that if anything goes down, we'll just have a conversation about it. But there is no falling out. There is no, that's just not what we do. And so in that respect, we all have that like mind that no matter what, we're going to be sisters at the end of the day. We're going to love each other. Uh-oh, Tamara, wait.
You said no falling out. Now, it's evident you and I have fallen out in public, so
we are
still sisters.
Right, it almost went down. Now, I'm not afraid to rumble in public, okay?
You know what? Stacie to do her sound effects.
Listen, she's going to mess around and her husband will put a virus on her computer.
Somebody take that from her, okay? I'm telling you.
So I think it's important to find, and listen, we're like-minded. We like to laugh. We like to have fun. We like to support other people outside of what it is that we're doing. So that's why there's that's why there's a mesh between all of us. And so I think finding like-minded people is important. Also finding people who don't mind rumbling your feathers, which was Tamara for me. And, again, it could still go down. At the same time, she rumbled my feathers to get results. And so that's another important piece of making sure you have someone who doesn't mind going against the grain, who can see possibilities where you see problems, who can see potential where you can't see it at all for yourself. And so that is why I'm here. That's why I'm grateful for my sisters. But I think those are some very important items to look for when selecting team.
But you know what, Serena?
I'm texting Andrew after this show. This is over. Next show, she's gonna have booties on her hands. That's all you're gonna be able to do.
But you said something that was key, Serena. You said that we are like-minded, but it's clear we all have three different personalities. And so a lot of times people tend to shy away from people who don't have their exact personality. And I think that's a problem, because I think all of our personalities are needed and necessary, particularly when we're working on projects and when we're doing things. You have someone that, like you said, is not a yes man or yes woman, that's not afraid to share their opinion and to speak up. I think those things are very necessary, whether you're working in a team, whether you're working in corporate, or even running your own business and working with different vendors and things like that. So I tend to always think about all those personality tests. I know all of you have taken Myers-Briggs and all those. There's so many different names, where we kind of figure out what we are. Are you an NABJ? Or are you is that the journalism? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. We all have these personality tests. And really, I think people sometimes get stuck with those personality tests, because if your personality tests say you're an A personality, you're strong, you do this, that can magnify how you act in a group setting. And sometimes it's not even really your true personality, but you're taking on those characteristics because you know that they exist in some kind of way within you. And a lot of times those personality tests are not to put you on 10 or put you on 100. Those tests are to show you how to work with other people, and then also to help other people understand your point of view. It's really a mechanism for us to work together. And so I really think you have to have different personalities. And I'm a creative, but I'm also organized. I'm like one of those weird people. I'm an editor and a graphic designer. Like, you usually don't see that, because usually graphic designers can't spell. You know what I mean? They don't spell check. So I'm a weird personality. So I tend to kind of be in the middle on a lot of different things, which I also am on the middle of dealing with what we call difficult personalities. I see it differently. I don't take a lot of things personally, but that's a part of my makeup and something that's proven to help me when working with difficult people, working in teams, and even being open to feedback and criticism, even taking criticism and spinning it. So the personality thing is really, really important. You do not need to be Just because you're like-minded don't mean you need to have the same personality. And you do have to work with other people. Knowing your personality does not mean, okay, you have no holds bar. You can just run around and act, because you're a personality. That's not what that means at all. And I think some people use it as an excuse to never change.
Absolutely. And hey, Roz is scribing as usual. Hey, Ellie, appreciate you, Sora, being here. So she was saying the DISC assessment was the
yes, that's one of them too. Yes.
There's so many. And in network marketing and direct sales, there's different kinds of training on personality for a specific reason. When you are doing direct sales, you have to learn who you're selling to. You have to understand the personality and what's going to trigger them in buying. So to your point, you can't just stay in your box of your personality. You have to open up and understand how it plays together. So there's one in particular that uses animals. So a whale, a shark, a urchin, and dolphin. So the different kinds of personalities allow you to say, if someone is really vibrant and outgoing, you're not going to put that person to do data entry because they're not going to function in that space. That's not.
And I'm going to miss a lot of stuff because I'm bored.
Yeah, like that would be like putting me in jail. Like what? So you have to realize that someone is very detail oriented, and that's the urchin personality. In this particular one that I'm referencing, they're type A. It has to be all lined out, very organized in detail. You're not going to give that person the opportunity to greet the new clients when they come in the door. That's the last thing that they want to do, right? And if you have someone who is a shark personality, in this analogy, they want the money. They don't care what else is going on. Where's the money? What's the bottom line? Give me my check. So different triggers drive different personalities. And if you have someone on your team that doesn't want anything to do with details and you need details, how are you building your team? Like, I know who I need around me. I know what my ministry is and want to hate. So there's certain things I don't want to do. So I have to have those personalities around me to balance out the growth of a business, of a team. So this is very important when you're thinking about building your team, when you're thinking about expanding your business, when you're even thinking about partnerships. Yeah. What partnerships help to expand your reach? Because you're touching an audience and you're able to relate to the people that you want to engage with. So this could be on a business front or it could be on community service. There are a lot of people who volunteer their time and their resources to organizations. What about the church, Pulpit Chic? There's how many ministries, how many volunteer situations, and some people shouldn't be ushers. An outgoing person, you come and tell, come sit down there. You're welcoming me into the house of the Lord, right? If you're working in a community organization and you're giving out materials or back to school, and the person on the committee who's the grouch, they shouldn't be giving out the book bags. Yeah, they should not be the ones interfacing with the public. No shade, but that's not the ministry. Like, that's not the thing that their personality thrives in. Let them tally all the reports. Let them add up all the pieces of items that you gave away, but do not put them to greet someone. So that's why knowing personalities is so important, because you need to get the best of the best on your team that balances out multiple ways of doing it. The person with the big, huge heart, if you have to cut a budget, if you have to fire somebody, you're not sending them in. They're going to cry the whole time. You'll never get to the end.
The person that's getting fired is going to come out with a double salary messing with that person because they have such a heart. Like, you going to fire me if I'm 5 kids? Oh, you know what? You just got a raise.
Exactly. But we laugh about it, and we're serious, though, because we see organizations, businesses, even relationships suffer because we don't understand how to deal with personality. I do personality training. It's one of the best. I love doing that training. When I say that's one of the top ones, like, I'll do that in the middle of my sleep, standing upside down on my head, because I love seeing the light bulbs go off when people realize, oh, that's why he's like that. Oh, that's why she doesn't react. Yeah, it's not rocket science. You just didn't tap in to their personality, and you're not allowing people to thrive where they want to be. No enforcement.
And and sometimes when we look at personalities, you know, those tests are very general, but they always hit home. It's amazing how they really hit home with some things. But you know, we're afraid sometimes of dealing with people with different personalities. And like Stacie said, you need balance. And it balances you when you have other people who think differently, who act differently, who can bring up different opinions. We all win when we have different personalities at the table. I mean, look at the three of us. We completely have three different personalities. If you look at it, you know, we've talked. I mean, if you've been watching the show over the last 2 years, you already know what the personalities are. You know, even in our entrepreneurship journey, and we talk about, you know, Stacie, she's jumping off the cliff. I'm going to double dutch off the cliff, and Serena's like, I'm gonna wait. Those are personality traits, you know what I mean? But look how we do dream, do done, and we do it and we have fun and we bounce off of each other. It's a balance, even in your relationships. Most of us are married to people who are not exactly like us, but they balance us. You know, if you're up here and you marry someone else who's up here, I said, if my husband was like me, we would probably be broke because we would be tapping into every entrepreneur opportunity that came to us. So you kind of need some balance in your relationships. So not in just your personal relationship, but your business relationships. Like Stacie said, you need someone that's about the money. You need the details person. You need the creative person with the vision. And sometimes that's just not the same person, unless you got multiple personalities. And that's a whole nother show, because I do know some of them with multiple personalities. But for the most part, you need a well-rounded group of people around you so that you can all think differently and still be like-minded, like Serena said earlier.
Right. And I also think in terms of, as you all know, my father's Les Brown, and there have been times where I've had to work out, you know what?
We didn't know. We didn't know you looked just like her.
That's why I'll be saying nothing about it. But there were times that we had to do contracts. And of course, when the client would like to speak with the talent, my father, you know, he'll get on the phone, he'll impress them. All of a sudden, they're friends. He wants to hang out. They want to hang out. And I remember specifically, we had a time where my father, you know, he took over the contract. He took over the contact. We get to the event, and then my father goes, "Baby, where's my check?" Well, Dad, they have now laughed you out of your money, because bottom line is, you know, unfortunately, and he loves people. I'm sure you all can tell just in terms of speaking engagements, so on and so forth. He actually loves people, loves personalities, loves to engage. But unfortunately for that particular event, the client, and we said, oh, the client laughed you out of your money, my dear, because you didn't allow, you know, the person who's going to come back, such as me, hey, listen, we appreciate the conversation. When can we expect final payment? Oh, well, baby, you can't be that bold about it. Yes, you can. And this is why we're going home empty-handed. So the other part about personalities is also making sure when you realize, like Stacie, that you have a stronger personality. I mean, Stacie could literally be a one-woman show. I think you are hilarious. I mean, there's so much that you add. But at the same time, you recognize, oh, wait a minute. Let me pull back. I know who I need around me. And I think that's an important piece of it. So, I mean, again, my father, you know, it's not a swipe to him, but at the same time, it's just understanding that even the best of the best can still make some critical mistakes in terms of not knowing when to pull back and still letting the financial team come in, or the marketing team or the analytical team come in. And so that particular event, I said, well, you know, we're going to have to eat at McDonald's all weekend because you didn't do right by this contract. Nonetheless, thankfully, the client had integrity and paid. But again, that was that was an example that always stands out in my mind, that yes, you may be the talent, but also make sure you can't do everything. Nope. That's the big one. You cannot do everything, and let your team come in and collect your money. If you feel like the bad guy, let your team come in and be the bad guy. I don't mind. I don't mind.
But in that same example, let's, you know, even talking about a Les Brown, but there are situations that I've been in that it's like, okay, let me call Les in, because, you know, he can go in and swoon them and wound them. You know, he's charming as heck, and that personality is effective in a certain situation. And that's what I think you have to take into consideration when you have a team. Everyone has their strength, and you want to put your people in the right position so they can play on those strengths. But then also those strengths need to balance each other out, not take over and be harmful to the team, but to really balance out and be the most effective.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I I hope that everyone's just taking notes and this is helpful to you as you think about who's around you. You know, one of the teachings that I do all the time, who's sitting in your front row? I have people in my front row very intentionally, very deliberately, because I know the areas that I'll be a little soft on, and they're like, oh, heck no. Now, one person on my team is like, I'm Peter. My baby was like, I'm Peter. I'm the person. I'll ask questions later. I'm like, wait. But we all need to evaluate who you're rolling with.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what's the old saying that our parents used to tell us? Show me your friends, show me who you are. You know, birds of a feather flock together. All these little adages, they all mean the same thing, that we have to be intentional about who we're traveling this road of life with. None of us are perfect. We're all working it out. Each and every day, Dream, Do, Done shows you from process to progress. We share some of the things that we're working on as a team to serve you. We share some of our personal projects because we're moving. And we know that if you keep moving, you will get the results. That's one of my famous formulas. Consistent action over an extended period of time equals maximum results. So if you use it, just make sure you give me credit. But that is the formula that I share with my tribe, because some people think it's overnight. It's not overnight. It's building the right team. And sometimes you're going to make a mistake. The rant's coming. Sometimes you're going to make a mistake, right? Sometimes you might pull the wrong person on the team. You might bring the wrong people on, or the wrong people for that time. Mm-hmm. Everything is a time, a reason, and a season, right? So they could have been good for that part of your journey, but as you move to the next level, then you need to shift and you need to think about who is showing up on your team that's going to help you move to the level of growth and productivity that you require. That's ultimately it. That's why that's the tag for our show, from process to progress. It's not just, we didn't start Dream, Do, Done January of 2019 and oh my God, the wind started shifting and the world just came to our feet. You have to start somewhere. So we get picked up by a network or somebody wants to use the content of the show. We can have those conversations because we have traction under our belt. That's so right. We're giving you the roadmap in so many different ways. And Tamara's going to go ahead and tell you how you can stay connected, how you can purchase these wonderful shirts if you would like, how you can get our journal, how you can be a part of our masterclass, because we can't do everything one-ish every Monday afternoon, but we do want to take the conversation and grow deeper for those who are ready. We don't force anybody, and I'm so out of making excuses for people. I used to, but I've been delivered. Hallelujah.
You know what, Stacie, you said something key too, and this is a totally different show. This is a show we have to build on, because clearly this is going to take 2 episodes. But when you talk about putting the wrong person in place, you know, you really have to be strong enough to recognize that, and then strong enough to remove them. Don't allow the wrong person to stay in the right place too long, because you know you need a person that's going to get it done. And if that person's not working, you have to remove them and get somebody else in that place. So that's a whole other show of how do you remove those wrong personalities from the place, you know. So we'll talk about that. But definitely, if you want to stay connected with us outside of Monday, which it really does take more than Monday to get things together. So that's why we have our website, dreamdodone.com, dreamdodone.com. And you can go there, you can pre-order your journal. You can see what other offerings that we have. A lot of those offerings are going to be coming up because it's fourth quarter. We're getting ready for 2021, and you want to be on that train. I'm telling you, you want to be on that train. If you want to have an amazing year and get some things done, you definitely need to check that out. So make sure you go to our website, dreamdodone.com. And those wonderful shirts, they come in gold. Have them gold. Serena and I wore silver. I know you. Oh, she has. Are you got on the silver one?
Not silver's right here.
Oh, silver's right there.
Right here, yeah.
Dream, Do, Done shirt. So every time you put it on, you think about us. You become accountable, and you'll hear us over here. Like one of us will be on this shoulder, one will be over here, the other one will be right here. But we'll always be there with you. So get your shirt on the website as well.
Listen, ladies, this has been so fun as always. I know we will connect soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all tuning in on Monday at 1-ish. Make sure you have the right people in your team to make it happen. I will say I am a testament of my team of these 2 ladies, and I'm so grateful for how they've poured into my life.
Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week.